Thank you for watching this presentation for the St. Albans TOD Growth Area Plans project. We hope that this provides a good overview of what to expect throughout this project and look forward to seeing you at future meetings in the town of St. Albans. We also ask that you please take a few minutes and complete the survey on the project website. Link and QR code can be found at the end of this slideshow as well. This presentation will introduce you to our project team, why and what TOD planning is, and an overview of our project approach and schedule. Beginning with the team introduction, every project we pursue is made up of 3 critical team members. 1, the client team, led by the Town of St. Albans Director of Community Development, Megan Sherland, and one of NRPC's senior planners, Greta Brunswick, are responsible for providing much needed insight in the regulatory framework of planning here in St. Albans and ultimately represent the organizations that will be responsible for implementing this plan. Secondly, the consultant team, who I am a part of, composed of Stantec, Overhead Studio, and Sterling Mountain Planning, representing decades of experience in urban design, planning, and community consensus building. We lend our expertise in architecture, planning, design, transportation planning, and engagement. Finally, the third critical team member is you, the members of the community. You hold the important expertise of what it is like to live, work, recreate, shop, and exist in and around the town of St. Albans. Your insights are necessary for us to be able to find solutions and design recommendations that make sense and solve the problems that we 3 team members collectively acting together identify. So why TOD planning? This project has been funded through a federal RAISE grant, Rebuilding America Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, secured by Chittenden County RPC with the goal of creating a transit-oriented development plan for Northwest Vermont. St. Albans Town was the only municipality in Franklin County to receive funding, and the hope is that this process can result in a master plan for both the northern and southern growth areas that were identified in the regional master plan, and will support walkability and transit by visioning not only bike and pedestrian connections, but more importantly, the necessary mix of uses to support residents in relying less and less on their vehicles. This effort by CCRCP has 2 phases. The first is funding these planning efforts in municipalities throughout Northwest Vermont. The second phase will allow CCRPC to develop a regional transit plan, informed by the outcomes of each of these planning efforts. The CCRPC RAISE grant is coming to St. Albans at a very significant time in the United States. Today, transformative demographic change is creating an unprecedented era of opportunity to create walkable, mixed-use, amenitized places in virtually every region across North America. And at present, for at least the next 2 decades, the large majority, roughly 80% across the U.S., of net new households is expected to be singles and couples without children. These households will dominate housing markets, which in turn represent roughly 2/3 of real estate investment across North America. These households also will strongly prefer living and working in compact neighborhoods where residents and workers can walk to shop, play, learn, recreate, work, and gather together within a roughly 5-minute walk or a quarter of a mile. Places that do not require owning or using a car for every trip. These households are creating unprecedented market support for transforming gray fields, e.g. former industrial, commercial, or other outmoded sites, into new generation of mixed-use, walkable village centers. These same places increasingly attract families with kids and provide substantial fiscal support for local school systems. They also attract the creative, educated workforce that in turn attracts the jobs and investment that represent the large majority of economic growth today, and going forward, and expand economic opportunity for everyone. Transit and demographics together provide powerful tools for creating new mixed-use, walkable village centers that help create more complete communities. They offer highly amenitized public spaces that draw folks together to enjoy ice cream, beer, music, and unique eateries. They offer new housing options for folks who don't want to live in single-family, auto-dependent neighborhoods, but want to be part of the larger community. And they offer new approaches to creating live-work environments for those who no longer want to commute, but don't want to leave their communities. From another perspective, they provide an opportunity for communities to adapt to changing circumstances while maintaining their long-cherished character. Dublin, Ohio represents an excellent example of a community that decided to plan and invest in mixed-use walkable redevelopment of outmoded big-box commercial sites, single-use office parks, and strip centers to create a new Hartford community that had long prided itself on its traditional suburban character. Today, community members proudly point out that this new center has enriched, not displaced, their traditional character. Mixed-use walkable centers also generate significant real estate value that translates into stronger fiscal health in dollars that can be captured for better schools, more parks, and other public benefits. Let's move into the projects and process overview for St. Albans. We've proposed a three-step process that will unfold over 6 months. We start with discovering what there is to know about a place. This is called the discovery phase. As part of this, we interview stakeholders, have several conversations with the client team, organized a public meeting, and use the town's existing website to further engage with the community through online surveys and sharing information. At the same time, we have been analyzing available data like demographics, traffic info, transit routes, existing and proposed land use and plans, and on and on. Our goal is to understand how the physical characteristics of our study areas contribute to what we have heard from the community as well as what we see in the data. The end of our discovery phase and transitioning into preparing for the second phase, where we take all of the feedback we've heard from you, all of the data that we've collected, and our own observations and synthesize these into some potential plan alternatives and approaches. The plan on this page is an example of an early sketch for another project at this stage, where we brainstormed ways to connect critical neighborhood centers. We will explore St. Albans similarly, identifying opportunities for development and ways to improve connections. We will again solicit feedback from the client team and the broader community in order to narrow down the recommendations and alternatives into a consensus plan and recommendation. The final recommendation will be summarized into a graphic, easy to understand report document that will identify critical steps for implementation, including recommendations for zoning or regulatory changes that may be needed. Your input. Here comes the fun part. Let's look together at the two general areas in the town of St. Albans that are the focus of this study. The first is the northern growth area that extends from the city boundary to exit 20 and includes the commercial and industrial sites along it, and then some. Think about what this area is like today and what it could be in the future. The second area is the southern growth area. This study area extends south from the city boundary and east to the highway. It is somewhat centered around exit 19 and includes a mix of uses. What is this area like today, and what could it include in the future? You'll please spend a few minutes filling out the survey, linked at the end. Your input will give us important insights into the kinds of uses and experiences that are important to you in your everyday lives, the places you visit, the things that you love about your community, the issues and concerns that need to be addressed, and ultimately a compelling and inspiring vision for what these areas can be. Next steps for our team. We will continue data gathering, analyze the mapping, community input, and information that we receive and create. And in September, we will return for another community workshop to test out ideas and begin designing the future plans for St. Albans. part of this process, we would greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment to scan the QR code or follow the link and provide your feedback and thoughts in the community survey. Thank you very much.